They say marriage is built on trust, but what happens when that trust dies quietly, without anyone noticing? My name is Hira, and for 6 years, I believed I was happily married to Zion. We weren't perfect, but we were comfortable, stable. We had our routines, our inside jokes, our little Sunday brunch traditions. I thought that meant something. I thought we meant something. But sometimes, the most painful betrayal is the one hiding behind a smile. It started with small things. Zion's phone was suddenly off limits. Password changed. Calls he'd take in the hallway with hushed voices. Late nights at work that became more frequent, and excuses that grew thinner and thinner. I wanted to trust him. I told myself I was being paranoid. Until I wasn't. One evening, while he was in the shower, his phone lit up on the nightstand. I wasn't proud of what I did, but curiosity mixed with suspicion is a dangerous thing. I tapped the screen. A message from someone saved as client, Nyla. It read, "Last night was unforgettable. Can't wait to see you again, John." I froze. The air left my lungs as if I'd been punched. I stared at those words, willing them to change. Praying it was a joke, a misunderstanding, anything but what it so clearly was. When Zion came out of the bathroom, I looked at him, really looked. And for the first time, I didn't see my husband. I saw a liar. I didn't confront him immediately. I needed time. Space. Answers. Over the next few days, I kept watching. Listening. His behavior only confirmed what I already knew. I cried in silence. I smiled through dinners. I kissed him goodnight, with lips that shook from restraint. And then something inside me snapped. One evening, as I sat alone in my office cubicle long after everyone had left, I scrolled through my old contacts. My finger hovered over one name, Sarmad. We used to work together before I got married. He was kind, funny, the kind of man who remembered how you liked your coffee and noticed when you changed your earrings. Back then, I had shut the door on that possibility because of Zion. But now, that door wasn't just open, it was swinging wide. I sent a message. "Hey, it's been a while." He replied almost instantly. "Too long. Still drinking terrible office coffee." Just like that, it began. Our conversations started innocently, catching up, laughing about old times. But every message, every call, felt like I was being seen again, like someone was finally listening. Unlike the man I lived with, Sarmad noticed me. One night, after a long call that lasted past midnight, Sarmad said softly, "I always thought Zion didn't deserve you." I didn't respond. I couldn't, because part of me was starting to believe it too. Days turned into weeks. My heart was torn between pain and revenge, between dignity and desire. And every time I looked at Zion, with his forced affection, his convenient forgetfulness, I felt myself drift further away. Then came the night that changed everything. It was raining, the kind of stormy Karachi night that makes the whole city feel like it's holding its breath. Zion was working late again. I was tired of pretending, tired of hurting, tired of being the only one holding on to something that was already broken. I called Sarmad. "Can you come over?" I asked, my voice trembling. 10 minutes later, he was at my door. He didn't ask questions. He didn't need to. He just looked at me with those steady, understanding eyes. And when he held me, really held me, I felt something I hadn't felt in a long time. Safe. Wanted. Human. It wasn't planned. It wasn't rehearsed. It just happened. That night, I crossed a line I never thought I would. And for the first time in months, I didn't feel like the victim. I felt like the one in control. I wish I could say that what happened with Sarmad was a one-time lapse in judgment, a moment of weakness brought on by heartbreak. But I can't lie to myself. The truth is, it felt too good to stop, too real to regret. In the days that followed, I carried a strange mix of guilt and satisfaction inside me. I still smiled in front of Zion, still played the role of the dutiful wife. But now I had my own secret, my own hidden thrill. I wasn't just the one being cheated on anymore. I was now part of the game. Sarmad didn't pressure me. He never asked for more than I could give. But with every late-night call, every coffee meetup in the corner of his car, every lingering touch, our connection deepened. And the more I fell into it, the more I realized how empty things had become at home. Zion, meanwhile, had no idea. Or maybe he did, and he just didn't care. He still left for meetings at odd hours, still guarded his phone like a second skin. The man I once shared everything with now felt like a distant roommate, someone I barely recognized, someone who barely looked at me unless he wanted something. And I no longer felt the need to fix it. One evening, I came home to find Zion in the kitchen, unusually upbeat. He had cooked dinner, the same biryani I used to beg him to help me make, which he'd always shrug off before. "What's the occasion?" I asked, narrowing my eyes. He smiled sheepishly. "I've been thinking. Maybe I haven't been the best husband lately. I want to try. For real." My heart didn't skip a beat. It didn't flutter. I didn't melt. I just stared at him and nodded. Too late. Later that night, I found his phone unattended. I didn't want to check, I really didn't. But curiosity has a funny way of creeping in when you least expect it. I opened his gallery. Buried between random screenshots and work images were selfies of her. Nyla, in a silky red dress, pouting at the camera. In our bed. The same bed I had made that morning. The same bed he had made love to me in last week, pretending everything was normal. I didn't cry this time. I didn't even feel rage. Just a cold, clear awareness that Zion wasn't sorry. He was just scared of losing his comfort. That night, I messaged Sarmad. "I need to see you. Now." He arrived in 15 minutes. We didn't talk. We didn't explain. We just let our bodies speak the language of frustration, freedom, and forbidden passion. It wasn't just about revenge anymore. It was about rediscovering myself, the woman who was ignored, silenced, erased in her own home. With Sarmad, I felt seen. I felt powerful. I felt alive. But living a double life comes with a price. One morning, I accidentally left my phone unlocked on the dressing table. I was in the shower when I heard Zion's voice, sharp, cold. "Hira." I came out, wrapped in a towel, heart pounding. He was holding my phone, his face pale, his hands shaking. He had seen the messages. "You're sleeping with him?" he asked, voice cracking. I didn't lie. "Yes." Silence. "You're disgusting," he spat. "I gave you everything." I laughed bitterly. "Everything? You gave me lies. You gave her our time, our bed. And now you're shocked because I stopped being your fool?" His expression twisted. "You're my wife." "No," I said calmly. "I was your wife. You lost me the day you chose her over us." He stormed out. For the first time since this started, I felt exposed. Not ashamed, just raw. Everything was out now. No more pretending. The next day, Zion's mother called. Apparently, he told her bits and pieces, conveniently skipping his own betrayal. She begged me to fix things, to save the marriage, to think about our respect. But I wasn't interested in saving a sinking ship, not when I had already learned how to swim. That evening, I met Sarmad again, this time not in secret. Not as a woman hiding in shadows, but one finally stepping into her truth. I told him everything. I said quietly. He reached out and touched my hand gently. "And what now?" I looked up at him. "Now I choose myself." The days after the truth exploded felt strangely peaceful. No more sneaking glances at Zion's phone. No more pretending I didn't notice the scent of a woman's perfume on his clothes. No more swallowing my tears to keep a fake image of a perfect marriage alive. The curtain had been pulled back. The performance was over. Zion moved out within a week. Not with a fight or drama, just quiet avoidance, the same way he had exited our relationship long ago. He left behind his shirts, his books, and most of his pride. And I let him go. I didn't chase him. I didn't beg. I wasn't that woman anymore. Sarmad, on the other hand, didn't try to rush me. He didn't demand declarations of love or commitment. He gave me space, but not distance. He stayed close, checking in without pressure, showing up without expectations. And that's exactly what I needed. Freedom, not another cage. One afternoon, I sat across from my mother, watching her eyes fill with disappointment as she stirred her tea. "You should have kept quiet," she muttered. "Men make mistakes. A woman's job is to forgive and protect the home." "And what about when a woman makes a mistake?" I asked, voice calm but steady.
She didn't respond.
Because there was no answer. Society expects women to absorb betrayal in silence, to clean up the mess without complaint, to hold broken pieces together even when they cut deep. But no one ever stops to ask what it does to her spirit. I wasn't going to be another ghost walking through life in a loveless marriage. I filed for divorce. The whispers started instantly, from neighbors, from distant cousins, even from women who had cried to me privately about their own unfaithful husbands. They judged me for what they wished they had the courage to do. But I didn't flinch, because I had already lived through the worst part, the loneliness of sharing a bed with someone who didn't see you, didn't value you. This was liberation. One evening, Sarmad and I sat at the beach, watching the tide roll in. The wind tangled my hair, and the salty breeze clung to my skin. He turned to me and asked, "Do you regret it?" "Any of it." I thought about it. The betrayal, the lies, the anger, the night I reached out to him, the secret kisses, the whispered apologies in his car, the moment Zion found out,
The shame.
the freedom. "No," I said softly, "because it taught me who I really am." He nodded, then reached into his jacket and pulled out a tiny velvet box. My heart stopped. "Sarmad, it's not what you think," he smiled. "There's no ring inside. Just this." I opened the box. Inside was a folded piece of paper with one handwritten word.
Choice.
"I don't want you to feel like you're jumping from one man's shadow to another's," he said. "You have the choice now to walk away, to stay, to rebuild, to pause. But whatever you choose, I'll respect it." Tears welled in my eyes, not from sadness, but from the weight of finally being offered something I had never been given before. Autonomy. It took me a long time to answer. I spent weeks reflecting alone. I traveled, met old friends, reconnected with myself. And during that time, Sarmad never pushed, never called too much, never showed up uninvited. He waited. And in that waiting, I found my clarity. When I returned, I met him at the same beach. I handed him back the box. "I've made my choice," I said. "But not because I need saving. Not because I'm broken. I choose you because with you I never feel less." He smiled, that warm, quiet smile that had once been just a memory from the office. "You never were less," he whispered. "You just forgot." The waves crashed behind us, the sky blushed with sunset, and for the first time in years, I felt whole.